I chose the title Conspiracy Theory because of my interaction with people who are going through, sadly, difficult and challenging experiences. And sometimes that might be as simple as applying for a job, going through several interviews, and then at the last minute not getting the job. For other people, it's putting a contract on a new home in a perfect location, ideal for them and their family, and once again, right at the last minute, the contract is refused and someone else gets the home and they're deeply disappointed. And those kinds of disappointments, occasions when people pray and God doesn't seem to be answering their prayers, can be anything from disappointment over a house, as I said, or going through an acrimonious divorce, or in fact, losing a child. And it feels as if the circumstances are telling them that God has conspired against them. And so this book was written to begin to answer some of those questions. I chose to write about a psalm from the Old Testament, and particularly Psalm 139, because the Psalms are some of the most loved and memorized passages of all Scripture. In fact, it could be said that the book of the Psalms is the Christian's both hymn book and prayer book. And it's our hymn book and prayer book because it speaks into real life issues that people are wrestling with. And I chose Psalm 139 because it speaks to the nature and character of God. And once you understand what He truly is like, nothing else will satisfy your soul again. Today, we live in a world where our lives are dominated by smartphones, tablets, iTunes, YouTube, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and so it goes on. And we've pretty much convinced ourselves that meaning and purpose and value and significance is determined by how connected we are to a digital existence. But in conspiracy theory, I've taken a number of biblical characters, blended them into each chapter to let the reader identify with characters that they recognize and can learn from. Because biblical characters grow in stages that we recognize and then take those principles and apply them to our own lives as well. Throughout the book, I've dealt with issues that people come across in their lives almost on a daily basis. And some of them are humorous, compelling, insightful, I hope. And I trust that as a reader goes chapter by chapter through the book, they'll have a greater, deeper appreciation of the character and nature of God. But I've also deliberately chosen two difficult subjects to touch on, one of them being abortion and the other being suicide. Now, abortion and suicide are considered what's called issues of complicated grief. And that means it takes a long time for individuals affected by either abortion or suicide to come to terms with these issues. And so I think both of these chapters will be intriguing to readers who have experienced either abortion or suicide, and I trust they'll be helpful in answering some of the questions that they genuinely struggle with. I included questions at the end of each chapter quite deliberately because I wanted to design the book in a way that would encourage the reader, when they came to the end of a chapter, to go back over that chapter mentally, answer some of the questions that they have probably answered in the course of reading it, but also to ask it as an individual or perhaps even in a group setting. Because in writing the book, I wrote it first of all for individuals, but secondly for small Bible study groups, so that they can learn from each other as they reflect on the principles contained in each chapter. There are three things I hope each reader will take away from reading conspiracy theory. And the first is this: that there are numerous hidden depths within Psalm 139. And the more the reader engages chapter by chapter with all of the biblical principles it contains, the more they'll learn from the book. Number two, I hope that as they engage with the material in the book, their love and appreciation and affection for the character and nature of God will increase by the end of the book. And thirdly, conspiracy theory was not written for the faint-hearted. If you're really going to engage with the material in this book, you have to ask yourself some searching, spiritual questions that may take you to places that you've never gone before. But I trust in doing so, you will sense the comforting presence of God as He draws you into a deeper relationship with Him, and then mould and shape your character to be more Christ-like as you engage with this psalm. It really is an extraordinary psalm, and one I think you'll enjoy.